Hello and welcome to week 4 of the Stitch on Sunday blanket, and this week we have alternating lace. Okay, so the last couple of weeks have been a little bit tricky and some people have struggled. There is a lot of people doing this who are quite new to lace work and things like that, so I wanted to do one that was it's very repetitive, but it still makes a really pretty pattern. It reminds me of tree bark. So I wanted to show that the same repetitive instructions. So like this is going to have a lot of knit two togethers, yarn overs, slip a stitch and pass the stitch over. And we will be using those sort of movements a lot over the course of the blanket. So this is a really simple one to kind of just get the hang of doing those things. It's also a good one to learn to read your, sorry postman, it's also a good one to read your knitting, to learn how to do that. So there will be some trickier ones coming again, but the next couple I'm just going to do quite simple, but still creating something pretty, just for people to get their head around how lace kind of works. I realise that there's some people who are going to be more advanced, and I will have some patterns in there that are a little bit more, not difficult, but a bit more interesting to knit. Okay, so this is alternating lace, and it is a 12 row pattern, I think. I can't remember. Yes, it is. It's 12 rows. So I'm going to start with row 1. So it is very repetitive. Okay, so knit the first stitch, that's your edge stitch. And then we're going to knit 2, yarn forward, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1, knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, hang on, I've just had my stitches off the needle, so some of mine are a bit twisted and split, so just bear with me. Pass your slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1, knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1. Now, I mentioned earlier about reading your knitting. So what I mean by that is being able to look at your knitting and knowing what comes next. That's reading your knitting. So on this one, you can see we have these sections and then these sections. And at the moment, we're about to change from one way of doing it to the next way. See how it's alternating. So we know that when we get to one of these, we need 3 stitches to do a slip 1, a knit 2 together and a pass slip stitch over. So because we're alternating it, we need this bit on the top. So we know that when we get to these, we need the 3 stitches. So these 3 stitches are going to be your slip 1, your knit 2 together and your pass slip stitched over to seal that section up at the top. So we know that the other 3 stitches are going to be knit because you're starting to create this section. We're coming here. So that's how you read your knitting. You need to look at it and figure out what's coming next, so that if you put it down and you walk away, you know where you are because you can read it and see. So where I am at the minute, I know that I need to knit those 2, I need my yarn over, and I need to slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, and then my yarn over to carry on knitting. So we'll do that repeat once more. Knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1. So I'm going to do this to the end, and we do this until the last 2 stitches. And then we've just got a knit 2 at the end. Purl back. Okay, so again, knit 1 edge, knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1. So for the reading this time, you know you've already crossed these together. So you know that those 3 are to now be crossed together, because on each other pattern repeat you have 3 lines going over, 3 stitches being pulled over. So you're needing this to have another 2 before you can close it off. So we know that these 3 stitches here are going to be the slip 1, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over. It needs a yarn over on either side, which you know because you have to replace the stitches you're removing, and then either side of it is 3 knit stitches. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1. So it's the exact same repeat as row 1 for row 3, and again for row 5 is exactly the same. So I'm going to knit row 3, which I'm on, 4, 5 and 6, so I'll be purled back and ready to start row 7. Okay, so we have completed this section. So we've got the 3 slip stitches passed over, and we're going to swap to the next part. Okay, so one thing I want to add with this swatch is I didn't anticipate how much it actually grows, and my cast on and length are really at the absolute maximum of there's other square sizes. Like I'm going to have to be careful when I block it. I might even pull a bit out and make it smaller to block, because it grew bigger than I expected it to. So if yours is doing the same, I would suggest casting on less. So this is my cast on here is 45 stitches, but I think you would be better off casting off 39, especially if you're using the thicker yarns. So cast on 39. If you think that's still too big, you just need to remove 6 stitches off your stitch count. It's got to be 6 because of the way the pattern works. So 6 stitches either way. If you're doing if you're using like a 4-ply or lace weight, not lace weight, fingering weight, if you're using any like slightly sport weight or anything like that, you might need an extra 6. It just depends on what size you're doing, but keep an eye on it. And also the way this repeat works, you could always stop in the middle, so you could potentially cast off now. You don't have to do the next alternating section to make it bigger still. So just to be aware that this one does grow. I don't know why, but it does. Just keep an eye on that. You can always message me if you're stuck, but yes, only remove or add 6 at a time. So 6, 12, 18, it's got to be a multiple of 6, otherwise it won't work. Okay. Right, so let's do row, what are we on? 7. So row 7 is we're now going to change these ones into these, and we're changing these into these, if that makes sense. We're going to alternate, so we're going into this row here. So to do that, we need to knit 1 and knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, and then we go into the original repeat again. So I'll do that again a bit slower because I did that quite quickly. So we knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1. So there's no passing slip stitches over on this edge here. Then we're going to knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, get round, pass slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1. And we're going to do that to the last 5 stitches. Knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1. So exactly the same as we've just done. You just have a different beginning just to move yourself across to where you need to be. So we'll get to the last 5 stitches. Sorry, I haven't got to the last 5. Right, so last 5 stitches is knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, knit 1. So make sure you don't knit 2 together because then you'll start losing stitches. So it must be a slip 1, knit 1 on the end of this one, and then purl back. So row 9 is exactly the same as what we've just done. So knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, and then I will repeat. Knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1, knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 1. Okay, so we're going to do that to the last 5 stitches. And then we obviously knit 2, yarn over, don't drop a stitch like I just did. Slip 1, knit 1, pass slip stitch over, knit 1, purl back, and then row 11 is the same again. So I'm just going to speed along now to the end. Okay, so that is, oops, need to pull it straight off. That is our alternating lace square. I think it's really pretty and I hope you like it too. It's got these little spiky bits. I'm trying to not have too many wavy ones in there because it might make the blanket go a bit skew with. So I'm going to do my best not to do that, but this one does have slightly wavy ends. But yeah, so we're just going to cast that off and block it, and that's week 4. I need to go back to bed today. So there we go. I hope you like it, and you know where I am if you get stuck. See you next week.